You're watching The Bo Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Oglaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, The Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station. I'm your host, Joe Hurlbert, alongside head coach Bo Frye. Coach, tough one last week at home against the Wapakoneta Redskins.
Yeah.
But we'll put that one behind us. It's hard to believe that we're in week number 5 of the high school football season, and the Rough Riders will host the OG Titans. Of course, you'll be able to see that here on Rider Nation Station. It's Hall of Fame weekend. Of course, the Memorial High School Alumni Association are doing their annual inductions, and of course we'll have that for you as part of our pregame show on Friday, so tune in for that. Around the Western Buckeye League last week, in case you didn't catch any of the scores, the Bath Wildcats defeated Kenton 42-35, Salina all over Shawnee 23-3, Defiance defeated Van Wert 41-14, OG, this week's opponent, all over Elida 28-7, and the Wapakoneta Redskins defeated St. Mary's 28-14. As far as the Western Buckeye League is concerned, we'll go through the standings, but Coach, you said that this is a very balanced league this year.
Yeah, top talent from top to bottom.
It is. Mm-hmm. So right now the Wapakoneta Redskins are the only undefeated team in the Western Buckeye League overall, although they are tied with the Bath Wildcats at 3-0 in the Western Buckeye League. And then you have OG, Salina, Defiance, 2-1 marks, St. Mary's, Shawnee, Kenton at 1-2, Elida, and Van Wert are 0-3, but both of those have one non-league win to their credit. So, Coach, let's take a little bit, take a look at last week's ball game against the Wapakoneta Redskins. We'll take a look offensively first, but it was almost like, your offense went in spurts. It was like the line dominated at times, and then all of a sudden they didn't.
Yeah, there's just I thought our kids played extremely hard, but just a lot of little things that have to click together and one guy away every single time.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from last week.
This is a good surge by the left side of the offensive line. We've got big bodies.
Yeah, and I don't know, we'll continue to show these, but I remember one instance it was like second down or whatever the case may be in like 11 or 12, and I saw a quarterback sneak go for 12 yards. And I've never seen that in my entire life, a quarterback sneak going 12 yards and picking up a first down in a crucial situation.
Yeah, our kids are playing hard. We're physical up front. I never questioned any of that. It's just sometimes the little things, the little details, which we'll get right.
Take a look at this highlight here. Let's counter back.
Yeah. I think he's a great little kid, man. He's a sophomore. You'll see a lot of him here for the next few years.
Of course, the Rough Rider offense was without Colton Mabry last week, and of course, you got to give a lot of credit to Fink, and Caleb Schmidt even picked it up a little bit, and he had an outstanding week running the football. But Colton will be back this week against the Titans.
Yeah, Colton's a 4-year starter, and obviously losing him hurts, but injuries are part of the game, and you got to adapt. This is a quarterback sneak, and this is a great job doing the service.
Well, this might be the one for 12 yards. Yeah. I've never seen that in my life, and I think it ended up being a first down. But Kessler just keeps plugging away. And then, of course, you get a little help from your offensive line, the line surge, and then the backs kind of help him along as well. But
yeah, I don't think anyone would ever question our toughness.
No. There's just good second effort again by Osborne, and just gets down inside the 5-yard line.
He's greasy in there.
Osborne had 28 carries, 104 yards. His longest was 13 yards. That might have been that one we just saw. 1 touchdown and 3.7 yards per rush, and we caps it off with a touchdown.
He's running hard, man. He's a heck of a football player. Here we got a trap. This is before half. Schmidt breaking it loose.
As I mentioned, Caleb, 10 carries, 62 yards,
Yeah, he plays hard.
6.2 yards per carry.
He
So,
plays hard.
Yeah.
He always is, and he, like I said, no one will ever question our toughness. It's just the execution at times.
There's a nice little screen play.
Yeah,
Got your blockers out front.
you got to actually block people though when we get out in front. It comes with time, man. It's getting better.
Offensively, you dominated the ball by keeping Wapak's offense off the field. You had a 33 minutes, 20 seconds time of possession, but Wapak had it under 10 minutes at 9 minutes and 9 seconds. But obviously the difference is that, the time they had on the field with the 9 minutes, they had a lot of big plays in the ball game.
They did, and it's hard for what we do.
Right. Riders finished with 281 yards rushing the football, 291 yards of total offense. Penalties were cut down quite a bit from the week before, so that had to be a positive.
Yeah, we were working on that in practice. Obviously, hands in, a lot of little things, but that doesn't happen overnight. We're getting off the ball, man. We're surging. We're playing good football up front. It's just we have to finish when it's time to finish. But we will. I have confidence. We have 20 seniors that work extremely hard, and I love every single one of them. So we're going to find a way to win.
Yeah, good decision by Kessler to pull the ball down on the sweep, and he's got blockers out front. He had a good night rushing the football, 77 yards on 16 carries.
Yeah, he's an athletic kid that can scoot at times. So we got to keep finding ways to get him the ball, and at some point he's going to complete some passes because he can throw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good surge.
Another quarterback sneak, and again, that's total domination of the offensive line, pushing the Wapak defense back into the end zone.
Yep.
Put 6 on the board.
Yeah. It's a good surge again. Schmidt getting loose. Textbook. Yeah. There's Aiden Meinerding letting it rip.
Puts it right on the money.
Yeah, he's got an arm, man. He's your textbook. He just needed some time to settle in, and he's going to play a lot of football the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Rough Riders on defense, of course. We talked prior to our telecast that I thought the Rider defense did good inside the hash marks, and they kept them contained. But once they got outside, just like this one right here, this is the very first play of the game offensively for them. Obviously, a mix-up in the secondary, which is probably one of those things that you've talked about. It's a little thing.
Yeah.
It's a little thing. So
can't have 10 guys doing their job and one not. That's what happens. But it's a team game. It's the ultimate team game.
Right.
So he's a good player. I think it's Cam Dameyer.
Yep.
I got to get him on the ground, but it was a good job here coming off the edge. And those guys will be fine.
Yeah, he's been playing some good linebacker over the last couple of games too. I think he's in the top 5 in the Western Buckeye League in tackles. So
yeah, it's a good job here too.
Yep.
They
run to the football.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I guess that was what we've been alluding to, that there are spurts of excellence, and then all of a sudden just a handful of times that there's like a mental breakdown, and it's those times that the opponent's offense takes advantage of those.
100%, yeah.
Finds that weakness.
That's what you said. You can't have 10 guys on the same page and one guy not. So I said it's an ultimate team game, especially defense, and offensively as well with what we do. Everyone has to execute. Good
job there. I think that was Luke Bourne's coming up. He had a pretty good game.
Yeah. Those guys don't stink. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
They're good football players. It's just sometimes you have nights that
the ball doesn't bounce your way.
It's been 2 weeks now. So but we're going to be okay.
So as far as the rest of this season, I know you don't want to look ahead, but obviously the next focus is possibly making it into the playoffs. The postseason hasn't been released yet, but it's very similar to what took place last year. Although you were 0-4 to begin the season last year, you've already bettered that. You're 2-2 right now, and then you ran the table in the second half of the season, and that kind of propelled you into the postseason. So hopefully that'll be the same situation this year.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to move forward into the postseason. But
sure.
Between now and then, there's a lot of football to play, and you can't look ahead. And you just got to take them one game at a time. And like you said, with the league being as balanced as they are, you just can't slouch on any particular Friday.
I'm not getting a lot of sleep. But we're going to be okay. Like I said, we got great kids, and you'll see us get better each week. I mean, no one's quitting.
Yeah.
I'm not selling the farm. I'm not going anywhere. So we're going to be okay.
Again,
kids are playing hard, man.
Just good support.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just if we can get it right, it can be beautiful.
Yep.
And obviously, there's football gods sometimes aren't shining on you. So
as we've talked before, it takes three parts of the game: offense, defense, special teams. This is
the first field
triplets.
goal.
Yep.
Yeah, he pulled it a little bit, but he's got a leg.
But it was there.
Yeah, we're not gonna sell the farm on that either.
Nope.
We're gonna take our shots there as well, and maybe longer next time.
Exactly.
He can hit him. He's not a bad football player. So this was not executed to perfection by any means.
So there was, you overloaded the right side of the field.
Yeah, and then tried to rugby punt it. And I said it was 10 guys on the same page, one guy not. And you got to have all 11 executing on special teams. I thought our special teams were the weak link on Friday night. And that's something we pride ourselves on here at St. Mary's, so we have to make sure it's better. We cannot come out in the second half with some life and then give up a daggone 100-yard kickoff return.
Right.
So obviously that has been a huge focus in practice this week, more than it should be. But we're putting a lot of time into our kickoff coverage, our punt, our PAT. Special teams are a big deal, and we have to make them a big deal again.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is our last clip on special teams.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good, and there's some real good, but like you said, you can't go forward 10 steps and then take 5 steps back.
Right.
You're not making as much progress as you need, and that's on me. We'll get that fixed.
This one here was a short kick, and I think Kessler fielded
it and got vertical. I mean, if you're going to give us the ball at the 35, that's okay, So
that's a look at last week's game against the Wapakoneta Redskins. We'll put that one to bed. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at this week's opponent. The OG Titans of Ken Schreiner comes to town. Of course, Ken Schreiner just recently won his 200th game as a high school football coach last Saturday, so I'm sure those OG Titans will be pumped up when they come to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back right after this.
You're watching the Bo Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors: Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Oglaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, The Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Welcome back to the Bo Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlbert alongside head coach Bo Frye. Glad to have you along wherever you may be watching. Let's take a look at some of the games this week around the Western Buckeye League before we talk about OG coming to St. Mary's. Bath is on the road at Elida. Keep in mind, Elida's playing good football. They got waxed last week. Bath is playing good football. They're undefeated in the Western Buckeye League. So, again, on any given Friday night, anything can happen. So we'll see what takes place with the Bath Wildcats and see if they can remain undefeated on the season. Salina will make the long trip to Kenton. Defiance is at Shawnee. Van Wert will be at Wapakoneta. And, of course, the OG Titans will be at St. Mary's. So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the OG Titans. Kent Schreiner, he's got those Titans playing pretty well.
Yeah, you got to first talk about that. They're a very fundamentally sound, well-coached football team, and they're playing extremely hard this year. They weren't maybe playing as hard last year for him, but he's got them playing hard again.
He does, and I mentioned congratulations to Kent Schreiner on his 200th victory last Friday night in their win. But, again, if you follow or know anything about OG, I mean, they're a rather small school, so to speak, but it always seems like year in and year out, whatever sport it may be, girls volleyball, basketball, football, they produce some athletes.
Yeah, they have a lot of pride. They're a MAC-type school, but they usually have people, and they still do, long-bodied basketball kids, and it's always been a challenge for us, So
when we offensively, we line up offensively on the football. The offensive line, obviously, a lot of times many of these games are won in the trenches. Is this going to be an equal match, or is it something that, we're going to have to be ready for?
Yeah, Coach Heapsch is their defensive coordinator. You're going to get 17 different defenses. So you got to be ready on your toes at all times, step ahead. But we're doing a lot of things on offensively to keep people off us. But yeah, it'll be a tough matchup.
And, of course, their offense, they've got some people returning. And, of course, you always want your returners to be in the skilled position. That's always a benefit, and I think that's pretty much the same as OG. They've got some experience offensively.
Yeah, they brought their quarterback back, and they've got skill, and they're running the ball a lot more this year, coming downhill at you, but they can also throw it over your head. So we got to be able to play both, and we'll be fine.
And special teams has also been a big part of OG's program. They pride themselves on that. We've seen kickoffs come back. We've seen punt returns come back for some good distances. So the special teams has to be on their toes as well.
Yeah, that's just the product of a well-coached football team.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get there. We'll get back on the winning ways, and we hope you folks will join us this Friday as we bring you the game between the OG Titans and the St. Mary's Rough Riders. As I mentioned before, it's Hall of Fame weekend, as they will induct more individuals into the Memorial High School Hall of Fame, and we will have that for you during our pregame show. So for head coach Bo Frye, I'm Joe Hurlbert. Until next week, so long, everyone.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.